ESPN does a bracket challenge for March Madness, so of course they were going to do one for the college football playoff. So we're going to pick it. Let's get to it. All right, this is Winning Cures Everything, a college football podcast. I am your host, Gary Seegers. You can follow me on X at GaryWCE. Today, we're going through all 11 games of the CFP, and we'll determine who's going to be the national champion based on my power ratings, what we know about injuries, etc. So let's go ahead and bring up the screen so you can see what we're talking about. College Football Playoff Bracket Challenge over at ESPN.com. And let's take a look. So we're not going to waste time. Why don't we just go on and get into it? Clemson goes to Texas. And I've got my power ratings over here. I'm not going to put them on the screen. But I've got Texas favored by a little over 11 points based on power ratings. So I'm fairly certain that Texas is going to get this thing done. So we'll go on and do Texas for that one. So Texas going to face Arizona State. But let's go through the first round first, just to see. Tennessee going to Ohio State. I'm going to go with an upset here. I think that the vibes are bad at Ohio State. Now, my numbers have Penn State favored by 8.5, just based on power rating. Or have Ohio State. I hope I said that right. I've got Ohio State favored by 8.5 at home. But vibes are good with Tennessee. They've got a strong defensive front. They can get after Ohio State a little bit, dealing with some offensive line injuries. If things start out slowly for Ohio State, that could certainly end up not being good. So let's go ahead and take Tennessee there, which is not ideal. I'm certain that they would like the Rose Bowl matchup to be Ohio State and Oregon. But Tennessee, Oregon, that'll be perfectly fine. That'll be fun. All right. SMU at Penn State. My number has Penn State favored by 7 points. I think it's going to be more than that. I think Penn State will dominate the line of scrimmage here. SMU's got a really good defense. This one could get hairy because we know that SMU, volatile, certainly, and Rhett Lashley, good offensive coach, but that defense is legit with Scott Simons. Penn State, I think, on the line of scrimmage is just too tough for this. So let's go on and take Penn State on that one. So Penn State going to face Boise in the Fiesta Bowl. And then the last first-round matchup that we've got. Indiana goes to Notre Dame on a Friday night. Chance of snow, high in the 20s. This one could get interesting. I've got Notre Dame favored by a little over 8 points. I think it might be more than that. I think that Notre Dame is built more like Ohio State and Michigan on the line of scrimmage. Indiana had significant problems with that. No, I don't think Notre Dame's going to be super explosive against this team, and Indiana's certainly going to show up. But, and I think it will be somewhat competitive. It won't be the Ohio State-Indiana game. I think it'll be a little more, how about this? Notre Dame is better than Michigan, but they are built kind of like Michigan. So I think Notre Dame is going to win this game, and they will go face Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Easy enough, right? All right, so we move to the second round games. Texas against Arizona State, and this one in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which is where Texas just played in the SEC championship game. That's right. They just played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This one's noon on January 1st, and I've got Texas favored by almost 11 points here. Arizona State is good. However, freshman quarterback, I know he hasn't played like a freshman, but if you bottle up Scatterboo, then you should be all right. And most teams have not been able to run on Texas. I know that Trevor Etienne, for however he does it, he hadn't showed up against anybody else all year, but he shows up against Texas for Georgia. But I don't know that Scatterboo is going to be able to will this team to a win here. So let's go on and do Texas heading into the Cotton Bowl semifinal. Next game, Tennessee and Oregon. This one closer than I think a lot of people might think. I've got Oregon favored by just 3 points here. A little bit surprising to me. But when it comes down to it, Dylan Gabriel, we know what we're going to get with him. In the biggest games, the guy shows up all the time. All the time. He just knows how to win. So, Tennessee, fantastic defensive front. That certainly gave Oregon some problems when they faced Ohio State. And it didn't seem to give them as many issues when they played against Michigan. But regardless, that Michigan couldn't score, and that became a whole thing. We'll take Oregon. We'll take Oregon to head to the Cotton Bowl. So you're going to have a Texas versus Oregon matchup in that one. I think most people have this the same way. I've got Penn State favored by 6 over Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. This one's New Year's Eve, 6:30 p.m. Central, God's time zone, of course. This is the same problem that SMU's got. I just don't think that Boise can match up on the line of scrimmage here. Ashton Genty had problems with UNLV in some spots. There's been a few games where they've just not been able to get him going, and certainly he's going to get his carries, he's going to get his numbers, and Maddox Madsen, the quarterback, has been good, but I trust Penn State more in this spot. This is where talent can certainly win the game for them, so we'll do Penn State heading into the playoff semifinal in the Orange Bowl. This one on January 9th for that one. The Sugar Bowl, does it get any bigger, really, than Notre Dame, Georgia? I mean, that's kind of a massive, massive game. It just brand alone. We saw this matchup 2017, 2018, I think, something like that. Fantastic games. Fantastic games there. Georgia, going to be without Carson Beck. Okay, what has Gunnar Stockton got? When you're going up against a defense like this, I know that Texas has a really good defense. Georgia got really lucky that Texas did not finish drives and turn the ball over and all sorts of stuff. These are two really good defenses. Whatever the number is, I'll probably take the under. But I've actually got Notre Dame favored in this spot. I've got them favored by 4 points without Carson Beck. Okay, let's see. I've been surprised at my power ratings loving Notre Dame this much, but we'll take it. Notre Dame going to the Orange Bowl, face off against Penn State. So now we've got our playoff semifinal in the Cotton Bowl, Texas against Oregon, and I've got Texas favored by 0.5 point. I trust Oregon to be able to finish drives. I don't trust Quinn Ewers in high-pressure situations. I think this Oregon defense can get after Texas a little bit. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I'm going to take Oregon to win this one in the Cotton Bowl. So Oregon playing in the national championship game. And then you've got the playoff semifinal in the Orange Bowl. Penn State and Notre Dame. And I have Notre Dame favored by 4.5 points here. The numbers love Notre Dame. I don't understand it. So we will have only one SEC team in the semifinals. We'll have 2 Big Ten teams, neither of those being Ohio State. And I'm going to take Notre Dame. I think line of scrimmage, etc. I think I trust Riley Leonard more than Drew Aller. I think I trust Notre Dame's defense more than I trust Penn State's. So Oregon against Notre Dame for the national championship. And looking at these numbers, I've got Notre Dame favored by 2 over Oregon. Oregon is more explosive, certainly. But if we're trying to win a contest, we got to do something a little bit different. And my numbers like it. I'm going to take Notre Dame. So Notre Dame to win the national championship. How many points will be scored in the college football playoff in all 11 games? Wow. All right, so if you got 11 games, let's say you average 50 points a game, 550 points. So let's just toss that. 550. That's wild. That's wild. All right, and let's submit bracket. All right. And your pick to win the national championship is Notre Dame. Well, that's wild. That is wild. All right. So it is what it is. Check out ticketsmarter.com. Use the promo codes WCE10 to get $10 off an order of $100 or more. WCE20 gets you $20 off an order of $300 or more. And don't forget about Go Sleeves. GoSleeves.com/WCE, 15% off the best kinesiology technology on the market. The best compression sleeves, the best compression socks, shirts, gels, etc. They're all fantastic. And don't forget to check out bettingcfb.com. That is my membership site, $5 a month, $50 for the year. And we have a lot of fun over there. Good community. If you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for me and hit that like button. Hit that like button. With that said, take care of yourself, take care of each other. God bless college football, and hopefully all of your tickets cash this week. Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything. Make sure and follow me on Twitter @GaryWCE. If you want to toss in a question, you can email me Gary@winningcureseverything.com. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.